Number 11, the goal is to convert this to factored form. So if I go down my methods list, I always check for GCF first. Nothing divides 2, 11, and 12, so GCF would not be the method I'm using. Since this is a trinomial and not two terms, we can't use method 2, difference of squares, so we're going to be doing trinomials. But because there's a number in front of the x squared, this 2, in front we're going to have to do grouping. So the very first step is to create our graphic organizer, and we're going to multiply the first and last number. So 2 times 12 is 24. So our goal is to figure out what multiplies to 24 and at the same time adds to the middle number 11. So our factor pair would be 8 and 3, because 8 times 3 is 24 and 8 plus 3 is 11. So for factor by grouping, we're going to rewrite the expanded form. The first and back term will stay the same and the middle term gets broken up using our two new factors. We're not changing the expression at all, we're just rewriting 11x as a different way. So it starts out 2x squared, and instead of 11x's, I'm using 8x's plus 3x's. And again, I didn't change anything because that recombines as 11x's, and then the back number stays the same, so plus 12. We now have created 4 terms instead of 3 so that we could group them. The first 2 make a group and the last 2 make a group. And we're going to factor these by finding the greatest common factor. So the first group, the biggest number that divides 2 and 8 is 2, and they both share an x. What's left inside? Well, 2x times x gets me back to 2x squared, plus 2x times 4 gets me 8x. Bring down the plus sign, that separates the two groups. In my next group, the biggest number that divides 3 and 12 is 3, and they're never going to share an x in the second group because the back number 12 will never have an x. It's just always going to be a constant. So if I look at my first parenthesis, I notice that I had x plus 4, and I know that for factor by grouping the parentheses has to match, so this also has to be x plus 4. So if I write it in there and distribute the 3 to check, 3 times x is 3x and 3 times 4 is 12, it does work out. So my final two factors come from this line. Really you're thinking of what do they have in common, again factoring what their common greatest common factor would be. They both share x plus 4, so that's going to be one of the final factors, and if I shade out the x plus 4, what's left over? As if you factored out x plus 4, you would have the 2x plus 3, so that becomes your second factor. So 2x plus 3. So my two factors in any order, x plus 4 and then 2x plus 3.